Failed to post the tweet. That's great. Okay, so Wickie DevLog. I have no idea. I have no idea at all. So, go fig. I believe this is just an instance. Hello, how are you doing? Sorry, I'm just tinkering in Unreal Engine. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up something. Check mode variable. Oops, oh come on Unreal, why have you changed your page layouts? I just need to check and see if a class has a variable I need. Okay, that's code, that's great. Create a parent class, put variables and functions there. Then all the actors that are subclasses will have the same variables and functions from the parent, but they also have extra functions and variables. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, so what I could do then, because this is my NPC whip that I'm working on here, is let me see. That's a function. I don't really need a function. I need a variable has interacted. Okay, so I just need to know if we have interacted with anything. So compile, save. So if I go to my blah 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 widget here, Wickie dialog, and edit it. Just bring it over here. I have some interfaces here. Dialog response handler is topic active, extract on received response, use. Here we are. So this will be the use handler, would be my guess. So let's see if I open my event graph. I've got event begin play, get script interp, that's this bit. Get script interpreter, get game mode, cast to BP game mode, that's what I'm already doing. Target script interp, return node interpreter. Right, so the script interpreter is just being returned inside of BP game mode. Brilliant. Blah blah blah, get use distance, has use notification. Underneath functions data, get script interpreter. Okay, so, and this is all calling down to BPC Wickie dialog, which is here. Has interacted. No, it's not be begin play, is it? Call function use. Target is BPC dialog. Target self on PC. Compile, save. Okay, so I'm going to be here for a while doing boring stuff. Please do feel free to join me doing boring stuff, because that's what makes the world go round, whatever, you know what I mean. It's my event graph, my event tick. I'm setting its rotation. Has interacted is the important bit. Add on component activated or deactivated. So print. Now we have components here for the actor component object reference. Right, so we have use interface here. BPI use item, which is our item interface. Okay, play. Doesn't support focus on that. Hello, Pixel Theory TV. I am talking about getting this boring goddamn blueprint working, and it is making me go mental. A blueprint being a kind of visual code in Unreal Engine. And the reason that it's making me crazy is because I suspect I may be, you know, a little bit thick. I'm having a real job getting this to work, to be quite honest. So, go fig. Because all I need to do is I need to get this where I go up to, and this should be easy, right? Basically all that happens is I should be able to walk up to my character here and the dialogue starts. Well, the problem is, from what I can gather, okay, I'm using the BPC dialogue system. So if I open up my blueprint here, hello, and let me see, so go to my event graph, here we are. Now, all that's happening at the minute is the rotation of the NPCs being changed by me so that it's constantly looking at where you are. Okay, now when we actually run this, if I come down to my BPC Wiki dialog inherited, okay, it's going through this and it's picking up that it needs to go into my data tables for my dialog. So in this case it's going to demo 1 where it says Malin, my action equals on, audio clip none. So it's not actually doing anything. I'll just quickly change this to something else, okay? I am the dummy text, etc, etc, etc. Okay. Now, pre-action I'm going to turn off because there's no damn point. There we go. So all it should do now, and it will do it incidentally, is I will walk up to this and I will go, hey there buddy, how you doing? Press E, I am the dummy text, etc, etc, etc. And what I need is I need my main script that's inheriting BPC dialog wiki to go, right, you've ran BPC wiki dialog, well done you, we're very proud. Let's mark this in a boolean as this has ran. That's it, that's all I need. Now you would think this would be easy, and I had it kind of working, but it turned out that what I was doing was, it didn't matter whether the dialogue had ran or not, it was still classing itself as like, yeah, that worked. So now I've got to kind of work out how to do it so that when it's actually running the dialogue, it's definitely locked it and sends the variable back. Now what I should be able to do is inside here, if I can just do this. So if I go to I am the dummy text, etc, etc, on say post action here, I should be able to type in my action equals on, okay, and that should set a variable called my action to on. However, for that to work, what I've got to do, hold on to your hats, it gets good, is I have to get my script interpreter for, let me see, message, or hang on, do I have to get it for BPC wiki dialog? Sorry, there we go. So there we are. So get script interpreter. Okay, there it is. And then with my interpreter, I want to get variable. Okay, so get variable from my script interpreter. Now for my namespace, I have none. For my key, I don't really have one, so I'm going to call this my action. Okay, so I've created a new key, virtual key called my action. I could get an event off finishing the interaction, but the interaction, because it's nested, is what do you call it? Well, not nested because it's branching. It would mean that I'd have to have one on the end of every single one, and I need this to be very, very reusable. So at the minute, this is like tinkering, you know. So in theory, key my action here, okay, will now figuratively work. You can hope. I'm just going to set up a new thing, and I'll call this my key name, and this should be a key. Blueprint, oh, flipping flip balls. So key my action. There we go. There's my key. Compile, save. Okay, so now I've got this stored as default value key my action, and then what I can do is hopefully set the value of key, which I can then print over here. It's I'm only willing to spend the rest of today dicking around on this, to be honest, because it has been a little bit of a pain in the arse. So at the minute I should see my action feeding through here, which seems about right. Okay, now what I need to do next, bear with, I know this is a yeah, there's a new update on sorry, I can't read what your name is there because the red colour. Yeah, there's a new update for 4.26, a hot fix, 500 bug fixes. So that should be pretty cool. Okay, so anyway, I am going to tinker. You're welcome to join me as I tinker, because tinkering is cool. I don't like the fact that Unreal Engine has changed its forum layout. I think that's a wee bit annoying. Not because I don't like the dark look, but because, well, teeny weeny bit annoying. That could work. I could use an event dispatcher. So look over here. So open that fellow up. Event graph. So create a new graph. I could call this new event 1. Hooray, there it is there. Then I can add nodes to it. I'm not going to though. Tinker, 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 that's what I'm doing. Well, that's it. The post-action stuff on that allows you to do things like set branches and set conditionals that are only actual conditionals that exist as, what do you call it, virtual variables inside of the data table. Oh, sorry, door. Go ahead. Thank you. Lovely. Oh, cheers, man. Shut up, dog. Shush. Shush, you little poo head. Shush. Oh, sorry about that. Door. Let's see what exciting post I have. This is what being an adult is. It's getting post. Ah, brilliant. That's really good news. Okay. And if I'm looking at my big bag of stuff, holy beauties. I've ordered some random t-shirts. I needed some. Let's see what I've got, shall we? God, this has devolved rapidly, hasn't it? From, like, you know, Chris does some coding to Chris looks at his new t-shirt. Oh, nice. What's this? I quite like that. What is it? Yokai watch. There we go. Look at that. New t. Come on, you get excited when you get a T-shirt. That's why I order random ones. It's like someone's buying you presents. Well, yeah, exactly. Fuck work. Let's see. Oh, this one's a nice one. Marvel. This is. Oh, look at that. Eh? Look at that. Oh, that's a bit nice. I like that one. Ah. Looks like fun wearing that too. Now then, what's this? Oh. I don't even know what. Oh, this looks like a World Wrestling Federation one. Yep, that's wrestling. Cool. Don't know who it is, but it's a nice shirt. What else is there? Oh, Transformers. I do like Transformers. Hate the colour. Hate the colour, but you know, that's pretty cool. Not bad for £20 for 5 brand new shirts, was it? And of course, a classic retro Game Over t-shirt with a picture of a basketball dude on the front. Mint. One moment. Dog is far too cold. Which shirt will I wear? These are really quite surprisingly decent quality as well. I rather like this. Yeah, these are cool. Okay, now I'm happy. And I've got some flat pop. What more could I want? Right, so rather than dick around, let's see. So I'm going to set a variable up here, and I'm going to call this newvar1 because I'm lazy. Set newvar1, drag it off from here, set its value to plus. Okay, and then on event tick, branch it, read its value at there, because why not, and just print the string. Compile, save. So what should happen is that it will print this string every time this begins to do anything. Now I'm pretty sure that is just going to work. Yep, that works. Okay, so I'll make sure there's no existing code inside this fellow. I do talk a lot. The job is a damn good one. Look at this shirt, man. Yeah, I am shirt king. Okay, so nothing else is doing a print here. So all that's happening is BPC Wickie dialog up here on event begin play is doing this set. Cool. Now then, this is inherited from, I believe this is just an instance of this one, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So shouldn't have done that. It's going to take forever. Time some flat pop. That was very flat. Oh my god, it's still deleting. See this? This is a quality Twitch stream / YouTube stream / Facebook stream, you see? Nothing but the most confused Chris trying not to, you know, have a mental breakdown whilst receiving endless free t-shirts. That's what I do. Okay, NPC whip. Let's have a look. No, hang on, I didn't even need that. I need this one. God, so dumb. Right, so let's have a look. Oh wow, there was a warning. I love that. That means there's something not right in here. So set input type, blah blah, event graph, blah blah blah, event use. Here we are. So event use. This is what I need from BPI usable. So what I'm going to do is I am going to set a value on this, I think, because I just need one. So let's have a look at the variables. And I'm going to call this, let me see, ws wvar, which is going to be a visual one. It's going to be set to off. So on event views, set ws var Okay, so this is going to set this variable here, ignoring the fact this is all, you know, I'm going to swear, it's all fucked, basically, okay? So, but I'll whisper it in case you're at work, that way your boss won't fire you. If you're at work, you shouldn't really... Well, actually, if you're at work, what you could do is you could full screen this, okay, and pretend that you're busy working on something. Unless you're an accountant, in which case this probably wouldn't be a very good idea. Okay, so set WS var has been set inside there and saved. Now, what I need to do now is get WS var from my Wickie dialog. There we are, get WS var. That's my Wickie variable there now. Okay, so it's reading it. Now what I need it to do is, if it reads this Wickie variable, ooh, I've got an itchy hand, there we go, then branch, and in here I'm going to put a condition in, so if this is true, it'll come out of here and we'll do a print, condition fulfilled. Because I feel like using big exciting words, and if it isn't true I'll print an insulting message to myself. Right, so let's see if we can get this bloody thing working. Well, it's saying that I'm not very clever at the minute, so that's not a good sign. But I am clever now! Hooray! Okay. See this? Do you want to see this? I'm going to put a shirt on my head for excitement there. Oh, that's how excited I am. Well, yeah, the actual game has a cubic shit ton of dialogue. The problem is that until this point, like literally the point that you're witnessing right now with these two stupid print strings, until right now, the actual catch system where it checks to see if the dialogues ran hasn't worked. So now that I've got this working, this is all about being able to make the characters appear and disappear, nothing else. Okay, because the whole point is that when you come over here, if this character is active and ready for you to kind of talk to it, it'll be visible. However, it will be invisible. You know, it will turn itself off once you talk to it. So what I need to do is, here it is here, sequence. So it's checking the value of this branch here, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a collision based on this, I think it's a cube. Yep, it is here. Okay, because I think this is the interact distance. Let me have a look. Sphere, blah, 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 blah. I don't know why the audio and the sphere are linked. Sphere radius 500. Outer interaction distance. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, okay. So, what I need to do is work out exactly how this is going to do its interaction. So in its event graph, at the minute there is nothing. Okay, so once it does its interaction through the BP Wickie dialog, where it's going to call this WSW var from the BPC dialog, which I'll have to remember because I'm a bit, you know, WSW var, whatever. Anyway, compile, save. Now, we're reading this, then we need to make sure, okay, that we are still in a visible area for our person here. So what I'm going to do is I can either have the circle or the cube. I think the sphere is probably a better bet. So right, so this will be an event. Can never remember how to spell collision. Right, add on component end overlap. Okay, so this is the bit that we need. Okay, so this is the sphere. Overlapped component is the sphere. Not interested in anything else really. So when we end overlap on this, now if this is true, we need a gate. Okay, now then this is going to open the gate, and this is going to enter the gate, and then I'll do another print function. So what we're doing now is we are checking to see if WSW var has ran. If it has, it means the dialog's ran. Doesn't matter what the condition is, we just need to know the dialog's ran. Once the dialog has ran, it will then open the gate and we can enter. Okay, it starts closed. If it has worked, it will print the string hello. So let's go over here. Still not getting that yet. Okay, so I might have my gate the wrong way round. It really would not be the wrong. Oh Jesus, I'm an idiot. I didn't exit the flipping thing. Right, so hello. Yep, great, that works. Okay, so now if you want to know why that's so important, that's correct. I did not leave the overlap. Well, I can't read your name because the blooming red on the screen. I'm colourblind. I'm really sorry I can't read your name. If you type your name, I will say hello, new friend to you, unless that's Pixel TV, in which case I'll say hello anyway. Ah, it's Pixel Theory TV. I like the name of your thing, Pixel Theory TV. It sounds way more professional than my one. Ignore the third officer. The third officer is a bot that just looks out for naughty people posting, you know, links to pictures of naked ladies and stuff. Okay, so print string done. So with that done, now what I need to do is I need to adjust some stuff in my timeline, because if I'm leaving, I want my person here to vanish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down and look at my Npc Manager, which is in my blueprint systems, and I try and keep everything as tidy as I can. NPC, here we are, and under materials, so that'll be under NPC standees param NPC system. So I'm going to set scalar. Set scalar parameter value, here we are, and this is going to be from my collection param NPC system, and the parameter name is size of my fade. Now at the moment that is 1.85, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm maintain what I am doing. Sort of, yeah, because it's supposed to be, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's supposed to be Pixel that I want the player to be slightly unsettled by what's going on, which is why I don't have 3D characters. I've got like these 2D characters, because 2D characters inside of this detailed, highly visual 3D world really are jarring. And the good thing is that, like, the scary things at first, you know, without giving away too much of the plot, scary things at first gonna be, you know, a little bit 2D, you know, lots and lots of silhouettes and stuff like that, and then things kind of ramp up fast. So the whole idea is that I'm kind of unsettling the player as quickly as possible. Plus, it means I don't have to dick around with a load of 3D models. I do have, you know, I did actually originally, in the year and a half of development for the wiki, I actually developed and got working the 3D main characters, you know, with animations and all that kind of good stuff. And it was just not much fun. It didn't really do what I wanted. It didn't look as effective. Anyway, I'll show you what I mean. So when I come through this, I'm going to do a timeline. Add timeline. And my timeline, if I just come in, oh, that would be nice. That would be very nice. The Dreamcast is still the king of consoles, in my opinion. And I think, you know, you're a wise person. Okay, so timeline 0 blah blah template. So we'll have a length of, let's say, 3 seconds, and I'm going to add a function float track. and just 1, 2. Now the first one is going to have a time of 0 and a value of 1.85, and the second one is going to have a time of 3 and a value of 0.05. That was a good one. Compile save. Right, pull out. And then I'm going to change the keys on this to auto, just give me a little bit of curve. Smooth in, smooth out. Right, so close that down, and I've got my new track 0 here, which I shall feed into set scalar. Okay, from the gate, play from start, I suppose. There we go. Okay, now when it's finished, I'm going to deactivate this thing because I don't want it to be activated again. So the easiest way to do that would be just to destroy actor. Okay, but before I do that, I'll set a quick delay so that it's not quite as jarring. So I'll do a delay of 2 seconds. There, like that. Okay, so if I bring down all of this pap that I've made, yoink, and just assemble it so it's a little bit tidier, that way I can see what I'm doing. Ah man, so how long you been doing game dev for, Pixel? And this is right. Compile, save, yoink. So now okay, that didn't work, which can only mean one important thing that I've forgotten, which is I'm not using the correct bloody material. So let's see, we'll have H1. It did work, but now it'll work better. Please allow me to demonstrate. I was using the old material, not the new material, which does that. A fade. It's using a fade by, yeah, it's basically just a gradient based mask map that's just coming down and getting rid of it. Right, so now I know that's working, thank heavens. Okay, now what I need to do next is I need to set some variables up on this. Ah, cool, you've been in the industry a while. I've been, God, I started as a 3D artist in actually it was about 2000, literally the year 2000. I've been interested in 3D for a very, very long time, but hadn't been able to get into it because the software being mad expensive. But a student evaluation version of 3ds Max fell in my lap in 2000, and so I started buying manuals and getting into it, and then I got a proper version of 3ds Max, and it kind of went from there. It was just a tie-up between whether it was going to be like, you know, am I going to get Maya or am I going to get Max? And it was Max. I really wanted to learn Maya, to be honest, but such is life. Right, so make character vanish after interaction only. Okay, so now we have to, under NPC controls, run interaction, vanish after interaction. Let's pull that in. Get vanish after interaction. Oh, nice. No, I don't want to become famous, thank you. It sounds like a real pain in the bottom. But thank you for your kindness in suggesting it. Nice person. Now, let's just get you banned. Let's see. And banned. There we go. All gone. Bye-bye. Right then. Gotta love them. They obviously think there's a lot of money to be made in this spam. Maybe there is. I don't know. Right, branch. So, in this branch, under step 2, it's going to read the condition. I used to run I used to own 3D Palace, the website 3D Palace, and it was always, you know, so many people just posting spam constantly, because we had an active community of about 124,000 people all the way up to about 2006, and it was like a full-time job, literally keeping an eye on the spam, and the spam wasn't even as complicated in 2006. You know, the automated spam posting tools you see nowadays just weren't around, so it was quite creative the way people were, actually. Check to see if NPC should vanish. Okay. That's another one. Compile and save. Oh yeah, there is. I remember when I went to college. We're talking like in the very early 1990s. So this is about 1991. A friend of mine who was at college with had actually worked with one of these places that used to just post out or put in magazines the whole like make your willy bigger kind of adverts, and he said it was a genius plan, to be quite honest. They'd stick it in the back of men's magazines, or they'd put it in like, you know, all sorts of things, this advert, and it'd be like just 20 quid, and so people would send them like £20 or a check for £20, and what they get is a little instruction manual that says like squeeze hard and pull a bit. Basically, that was kind of the entire guideline from what I can remember. It's been like a long time, but that was pretty much what it was. Well, that's how it works. Yes, that's exactly it, Pixel. You see, because the very few people that did complain about getting scammed, they would get a check back, you know, because it said full refund, no questions asked. But the refund they got back was on a bright yellow check that said refund from the penis enlargement company. So who the hell's going to put that in their fucking bank? It was just the most genius piece of work I've seen. So even if you get your refund, you know, you're going to have to go to your bank, because back then it wasn't electronic banking, and put in this bright yellow check that said basically that you'd been given a refund by the Make Your Penis Bigger company. And it was one of the funniest goddamn things I'd ever read. I mean, I'd ever talked about. It was just absolute gold mine. I loved it. Right, so check to see if NPC should vanish. That's under here. Yep, that's all correct. If he should vanish, it goes here. Great. Okay, compile and save. Starting to get somewhere. Wouldn't have thought it, would you? But we are starting to get somewhere. We can now check without having to actually use the scripting inside this. Now, if you want to know how it looks when it's actually running a normal branch of conversation, of which there's so much. Let's say we're going to go to C61L5, which is Bill 1. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll make him say Bill 1. That's a very good idea. It's always good seeing other people sad. If you remind me, I'll actually sub to your channel so that, you know, we can feed off each other's misery. That'll be nice. Bill 1. By the way, I would recommend, if you're using UE, the dialogue system that I'm using by Groggeroo really is very good. If you need a dialogue system, it's excellent because it's component based.
Welcome, lad. Good work getting the lights back on. The weather is fierce mild tonight for a change.
Oh, that's good news. Thanks, Melon. I'll go over here then. A bit further. Bit further. Bit further. You're not vanishing, I can't help but notice. Alright, it's brilliant. As long as once it's all integrated in, it's absolutely fine, you know. Yeah, I've got a few actors who've worked on the program. My view was, I mean, you'll have seen this yourself, there's so many asset flip games out there, you know, that are just silent and crap. I think it's nice that if you can put in a little bit of extra time, you get a much better kind of product. Yeah, I'm a wee bit dyslexic myself, so I'll kind of show you in the main game if you'd like. I just need to quickly check that I've got my flags set. Oh, he vanished after interaction wasn't set. You see, I've got all my controls actually held on the NPC level. So if I click save current and then play, I'm really colourblind as well, which is one of the reasons why a lot of the things I do are the way they are.
Welcome. Welcome, lad. Good work getting the lights back on. The weather is fierce mild tonight for a change.
Right, it should dissipate now. Toot toot, that's done. Great. Okay, so we've made a lot of progress there, so I'm really pleased about that. I don't know if you've seen the main game. I can go into the main game level if you want. At the minute I'm just kind of making sure that my oh, what's it called again? I have basically a plot director, and the purpose of my plot director is that, oh god, well, the trick with voice actors is, if you use ones that cost money, they're normally better. However, if you don't have a lot of money, like me, I'm paying for this out of my savings and out of money I get from doing side gigs and stuff. If you don't have a lot of money, then, you know, keep them on retainer and just pay them, you know, when you've got some money. So I paid for all the voice acting work for, you know, chapter 1. So if I go into audio, here we are, chapter 1 for Malin. And so I've got all of the stuff here.
They say you can sometimes see their pyres burning. Spirits of the elk.
And it's grand, because by doing it that way, you know, I can get blocks of it done for like $50 at a time. Which, sure, it's money, but it all kind of helps. Yeah, the Flow plugin does look pretty nice. The reason that I went with Grogaroo's one, which is free, is, well, the free kind of had something to do with it. But I kind of tested out a couple of them first, and I was really rather pleased with the way that the branching dialogue system works, because I'm a very visual person. I'm not great with code. Like, this is why I like blueprints. You're probably the same with the dyslexia. I like the blueprints because it's like, grab a handle, move the handle here, etc, etc, etc. And so this makes this so much easier for me. Like, so much easier for me. Right, now another thing I have to do while I'm thinking about it is... actor hidden in game. So, if the actor's hidden in game, I want to make sure that I'm not going to be able to activate it in any way whatsoever, and I'm not. Grand. Pardon me. Yeah, I hear that. I can fully understand. I mean, the problem is that, I mean, if I just show you this, so docs, I don't know about you, but my brain tends to turn to spaghetti after I've had too much kind of input. So if I just bring down my blueprint dialogue system here, this is Grogaroo's blueprint dialogue system, right? Now, it's pretty well documented. All the stuff he's done in the BP system is really well... Oh, I can read Pixel Theory TV now on my screen. Really well documented. But I have real problem, and I suspect it could well be kind of a bit dyslexia. But if I go down here to scripting... Sorry, I'm just going to get a cat in through the window. Sorry, the door. It's the door. Seen all these dog chews, by the way. Wait, come here. Okay, well, fine. Go away then. You're the worst puppy in the world. Have you had fun outside? Have you had fun outside? Good boy. Right, so the problem is that if I have a look at this, which is scripts, basically it took me about 5 goes to read that because it just made no goddamn sense to me. Now, I went and checked on the forums and everyone else is like, oh, this all makes perfect sense. No. So, in the end, I thought to myself, well, rather than mess around trying to get the script interpreter working the way that they have, I'll just try and bypass it. So all I'm doing is, as you've seen, I made a simple call just to see if the script interpreter runs. If the script interpreter runs, that passes WS dialog, which is working storage, an old COBOL term. Well, that's it. Once it's in, it stays in, which is great. Now, over here, this invisible cube is my plot director, and my invisible cube, its job is basically just to set up who's visible and who's not visible at any one time. So, if I open this, and I was going to run this just using a loop and an array, but I may not necessarily need to Oh, here we are. So reveal NPC on selection. Hidden, new hidden. Right. That sounds about right. And actor hidden in game. Yep, great. So that's all it's doing. I don't even need to set the scale, the world scale 3D really, so I'm not going to. I'll just get rid of the end tags on those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. I'll just take off those ends. Compile and save. Okay. NPC1 is already a BP my NPC. Where's this happening? Oh, right. Why are you still playing? Ah, no, Visual Studio. I haven't installed it. I had to format my computer the other day and it was majorly annoying. Let's see, this is doing a lot. Shh. Okay, I'm going to get rid of all the other sequences for the minute. And go into here. So cast to BP my NPC, where my NPC has not been chosen yet. So compile, save. Over here. NPC1 is that, or should be. Oh, this is NPC Whip 2, of course it is. Where is this? Oh, why? Once it's clean, it's brilliant. It really is. Okay. Now then, script action. Yeah, I'll work this out. I'm basically trimming down what I was using, but at least it's working now. Okay, so with that working, now what I need to do is go to my content, my NPC tools, which are over in here, blueprints, my blueprints, NPC, and this was NPC Whip, because that's what it is. So let's rename this little fella. NPC M 14 months, maybe 15. NPC, I'll change its name, BP NPC. There we go, that works. Yeah, I've been working on it 14 months. Originally, 14 months ago, this was just a small project, which was, oh, this isn't the project, this is just my workbench. Originally 14 months ago, I'd came up with an idea where I liked the idea of having kind of a guy, you know, being able to row from one island to another, and I thought that was kind of cool, just messing around. And then I do an art class on a Friday, and in the art class I'd, well, art group, not class, in the art group, I'd been kind of thinking to myself, wouldn't it be nice if I had like a lighthouse on this island that you could go and visit? And so I kind of designed this in the art group and then brought it back here and built a rough outline. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be fun if you were a lighthouse keeper? And it just kind of progressed from there. You know, you're a lighthouse keeper. Wouldn't it be nice if you were an assistant lighthouse keeper? And then wouldn't it be nice if you were an assistant lighthouse keeper and it turned out that, you know, the end of the world was actually happening all around you and you had very little that you could do to stop it happening. And then it just kind of progressed from there, really. And then we had this kind of big Cthulhu kind of storyline started coming in. And my wife, who's very, very good at storyline development, she helped me develop the story. And then my daughter is a qualified concept artist, and so I paid her for some stuff that I needed through that. And then I just started kind of creating the assets I needed, because I'm a 3D artist, or buying 3D artists, buying assets if I didn't have time to make them myself as well. I mean, I'm not the world's greatest character artist. I am a good environmental artist, but not a good character artist. So in the end I ended up with, here we are, this is the primary level. Don't know if you've seen this or not, you might be new to my channel, sorry. Here we are. So what I ended up with was this, which is the Wickie, which is an open world title. So down here you can see this is the key that you come into in the island, and you arrive here and pick up your torch and discuss with the NPC, you know, welcome to the island, etc, etc, etc. And then you have to go and prime up the generators, because you've just arrived on the island, and get the generators started. So you have to go up here to the engine room, and at the engine room you have to get these big generators started, which is all part of the adventure. And then you have to go up here, whee, and you have to go and get your dinner and tell the lighthouse keeper that you've done your job. And if you do that, still not all finished up here, but if you do that, then, you know, it opens up the next task sphere, the next task sphere, and the next task sphere. And then the story develops from there. And every night you kind of, the choice is that you go and do your boring lighthouse jobs, so clean the windows, you know, clean the windows, mop the floors, make the lighthouse work, check there's enough fuel in the generator. And you can just ignore the storyline that's going on. You can be like, oh, don't need to be involved in that storyline, I'm just doing my job. And then 2 weeks later you can just literally climb back on the boat and off you go back to the mainland. Your job is done. However, there's all this stuff going on in the background, and if you lift your head out of the sand and start engaging in that instead, it starts getting real mental. Because there's a weird plot happening set in 1936 with ships going missing and all sorts of mad stuff. And I don't go into the story too much, but it's pretty complicated. So, you know, literally that, you kind of, at the end of the day, you can come back to the lighthouse, do your jobs, climb into bed. The head lighthouse keeper basically tells you like, oh, you're off to bed early then, lad. Fair enough. You know, you miss every single bit of heavy plot that's going on, but you can just go home. Or, you know, you can start investigating what's going on, and things get a bit crazy. It's fun. It's one of those fun things that I've been enjoying, and one of the things that I've been doing as well is working out how I can not have any combat in it. Welcome aboard, Demo Scene TV. Good to have you aboard, matey pops. So the whole point is that I wanted to avoid combat because I like Lovecraftian. I like, you know, I don't like what Lovecraft stands for, but I like Lovecraftian. And the whole point of kind of Lovecraftian Cthulhu mythos is, if there's a really, really big monster, you know, it's going to kill you. And if you look at it, it's probably going to kill you, and you'll go mad. And I like the whole kind of principal idea that once you realise that, you know, there's horror that's going to destroy your mind everywhere, it becomes really hard to avoid it, you know. And I've seen so many games where people are like, oh, this is a Cthulhu game, look, they're coming out of the sea, blast them with a shotgun. That doesn't work. There's no horror involved if you have a gun and you can shoot things down in 3 shots. Yeah, it's a story-driven puzzle adventure. I know some people go, oh, is this kind of a walking simulator? To a degree, I suppose, walking simulator isn't an insult to it, but it's an adventure. The whole idea is that, you know, you go places, you read books, you collect things and use them in certain ways. Or just go and clean the windows and go home. It's that option. You can just do absolutely nothing and go home, and I love that. I mean, there's an option actually at the very beginning of the game where here we have our ship, the Amanda 2, because my wife's called Amanda, and you know, when you get to the island and Malin here says, lad, get the torch, you're going to need it, and then go off and, you know, prime the generator. You can go, I don't like the look of this, and just get straight back on the ship again. Yeah, I agree. You can't... The thing that walking simulators I've seen kind of get wrong is that they think to themselves, I'm just a walking simulator. I've seen some really good examples of this, like Gone Home and things like that. You know, where everything in the environment is telling a really, really good story that everyone's really, really enjoying. Well, that I really enjoy, rather. But the problem is you get a lot of walking simulators as well, where it's like, here's a really big environment, I hope you like it, bye. And that's it. And I mean, the thing is, with the Wickie, I've got this huge environment, I mean, absolutely enormous. And I've carried across things that I like from various places, like this, for example, from Southern America. I really like their terrifying cliff walkways they have there, so I stole one of those. But, you know, you can walk around the island without using the storyline and just come across things and investigate and, you know, find things to do. That's cool. But it's like anything else. It's like if you were dumped on an island like this one, and this is like a 4 square kilometre island, you know, there's only so much you'd do. You'd wander around it, you'd eat your ice cream, and then you'd get on the ship and go back to the mainland. And so a lot of it is kind of pointing out to the player, you know, maybe there's something more over there. And then when they go over there, like, you know, give them a small reward, show them a little one thing, and then something else happens, and something else happens, and something else happens. Just keep them gripped, you know. A good example of that is gates. Like, if we look down here at the... sorry, I'm talking so goddamn much, and I'm really sorry about this. But a good example of that is here. So this is, you know, the old gates, because wood doesn't grow in the Hebrides, on the Outer Hebrides Islands, okay, which is where this is based, the Outer Hebrides up in very far northwest Scotland. So what they have to do is they have to bring the wood in. Now, if you imagine you've got all these logs coming in here, right? Now, this gate's closed. However, we can imagine that there is, in fact, some sort of way that these would go in here and then go somewhere else. And they do. Eventually, you'll find that there's a way to take these inside to a central lift and, you know, bring supplies up to the house, which will make your job a lot easier if you can be bothered to find out. But another thing you find out, of course, is that when you finally work out how to get this thing open, you know, these tracks lead to all sorts of other places too. But because this is Lovecraftian, it'll only lead to certain places at a certain time, and it'll only lead to certain places if you've opened them a certain way. And that allows me to have what they call a very non-Euclidean kind of level layout. So even though I've already got a really enormous area to work on, you know, using streaming levels, absolutely tons and tons of stuff, I actually have a ton more stuff because I don't have to follow the rules of physics or logic, because it's a game engine. So if the player has gone and found all the components to maybe open a gateway in a more magical kind of sense and a Lovecraftian kind of sense, then this will no longer lead to the central lift shaft to take stuff up to the lighthouse. This may lead somewhere completely different. Yeah, you don't want meaningless puzzles. That really annoys me. And another thing that I think games don't need is, you know, if you can't complete a puzzle, or if you're not even aware that it is a puzzle, why would you have to complete it? I mean, the whole point that I was mentioning that I always thought was a really good idea is you don't need to finish the quests. You don't need to unlock anything to finish this game. You can ignore every single thing that would be a puzzle, ignore every single thing that would be a challenge. Get up, wash the windows, go to bed, get up, feed the generator, go to bed, get up, bring them all upstairs. My view is that this should all be secondary, and there's no indication where it's going to be. There's no, I don't at the start of the game say to you, you know, look out for the magic books, laddie, or shit like that, you know. If they find it, that should be the player's own kind of endorphin rush. Oh, I found something. Where does it go? You know, let the player enjoy their own discoveries. They're the things that I enjoyed most myself as a kid when I was playing this kind of game, you know. Cheers, man. Much appreciated. Oh, good God. I can hear my... Another thing that I'm having to be very careful about is that my graphics card is an RTX 3070. But I'm building this to work on 970 upward. You know, obviously the graphics will be a lot more basic on a 970 upward, but I've got to be very careful about how that works. Anyway, now that I've got this dialogue system kind of working the way that I want it, rather than the way that it was out of the box, the good thing for me is that I'm going to be able to focus on the bits that I need to do now, because this is all working. Curiously enough, the only thing that wasn't working was this check on the interaction for the characters. So now that I've got the interaction check going, I can run the storyline all the way through the whole of this day and get that working, which is great because that means I can then start straight away on basically the book and journal system. Performance is probably limited mostly by GPU, to be quite honest. I'm using as much stuff as I can with different kind of what do you call it? Different levels of detail and stuff like that. It's important to check on your LODs. If I click play from here, one of the things that eats the most resources, full stop, is the sea. Ignore the fact that the boat, the buoyancy is not working properly at the minute. But the actual ocean shader itself, because originally I went with the one from Epic, you know, and their water system's okay, but it has a few problems. So in the end, I'd already got a license for Waterline Pro, so I went back to using Waterline Pro, which does a much better kind of dark ocean kind of sim, as you can see. The only thing is I haven't got buoyancy turned on that ship, and I need to get the buoyancy turned on, especially for the demo, because that'll look so much nicer in the demo once the buoyancy's working for the ship. The buoyancy was working, but the problem is buoyancy requires so many calls to the what on this, about 110, maybe 130. I get a very high frame rate, but then again I'm using a RTX 3070. Also, I've been careful every time I've put in new material. I go in and really optimize the living hell out of everything. You kind of have to. Plus, my frame rate's quite high because, little tip for you if you're not doing it already, I'm using streaming levels. So while I'm at the key's loaded. When I get up here, the key unloads because I don't need to see it, and that loads. And then when I get up here, that unloads as well, and the lighthouse loads. And then when I'm inside the lighthouse, the rocks unload, everything unloads. So I'm just inside the lighthouse. If I unload stuff as I'm going along, it makes things kind of a lot easier for me, if you know what I mean. I think the main thing that I've learned doing this though is patience. It's like, originally when I was doing this, it was like, God, wouldn't it be great to have a game that I could finish and have it ready in like a month. And it was like, no, I don't want to do that. If ever you want like, instancing is so good. Instancing is great. I use instancing all the time. Another good thing to do is, if you really want to kind of get some drive for making sure you do a good job, just watch someone like Jim Sterling ripping apart like game developers. That really helps, because it really helps, you know, kind of think to yourself, God, I've got to work so hard not to be like this. Because it would be easy just to kind of, you know, put down your tools and go, yeah, this is ready. I mean, this will come out initially on early access in July, end of July. And then after it comes out in early access July, I'm planning on patch releasing every 2 weeks until the entire base storyline's in. And then after the first year, it'll be free add-on content for the next year after that, just so that I can continue adding more storyline content to it, because it's the story that's going to drive this, the story that's really going to make this game. So, I mean, you know, pretty things are pretty things, but I used to love text adventures, so this is basically like The Hobbit, but it moves, you know. That's it. Right, I think I am going to go and get some lunch. I think I should probably get some lunch, and then once I've got some lunch, I shall probably look at putting together the blueprint states. Just get basically day one put together the way it should be. So what should happen is, and then I can set the streaming manager as well. So what should happen is we start the game, music. See, that's not right. That's the old NP system.
Good luck.
There's the torch, which isn't working, so I've got to rebuild the functionality for it as well, so I'll get onto that soon. Okay, so I'm going to make myself a task list for after my din-dins. So, to do is... Are you from the UK then, Pixel? Or are you from one of them other countries that isn't? Yep. Well, I wrote the base story, but the base story was really, really basic. And then my wife, who frankly is a lot cleverer than me, kind of pulled it apart and said, well, hang on, do this. And that worked a lot better. Ah, Preston, cool. I know Preston. Thank you, Dave. Welcome aboard. 8 viewers, what the hell's going on here? Oh, it's you following Dave. Right. Yeah, I used to have a lot of friends from up Preston way, because back in like the very early 90s I was a COBOL programmer. So I used to work for the DSS, which is, let me think, Lytham St Anne's, which I didn't work out of, and Long Benton, where they used to have like the biggest office complex in Europe. Huge. And so a lot of my friends at the time kind of all worked as auditors or serious faced people over at the DSS, and I worked as a COBOL programmer. I used to work at St Anne's too. There you go, you see. One of us, man. One of us. Yeah, I've still got a few friends who are kind of over there in it. Like my old manager, who was a good mate of mine called Mike. He was open to doist. He was I think he's a grade 6 now, of all things. You know, like UG6, so he's making the decent cash if he hasn't retired yet. Right, let me just dink. Here we go. So I use this for my task management. But I used to be a COBOL boy back in the COBOL caves of the mainframes, because they used ICL mainframes, and then I became a consultant for Anderson Consulting before they were basically, you know, given a bad name by the whole Enron thing, and did more COBOL with them. Right, so today I'm going to add a task, and my task is going to be day 1, and then my other task is going to be, well, I've forgotten. That was a good start, wasn't it? I can't even remember what my task was I was doing, dude. It'll come to me, hang on. This is why I used to do it, you see. I'm 49 now. My brain doesn't work the way it should. Even with a shiny new t-shirt. There we go. Excellent. That's going to make my job so much easier. Right then, I'll make sure I sub over to your channel as well, Pixel, because I do enjoy watching a good bit of game dev. So I am going to go and get myself some luncheon, which may well be Marmite on bread, the king of all lunches, maybe with tomato soup. God, I love tomato soup. Well, I might have I've got corned beef. I could have a corned beef and onion sandwich. Jesus. You take it easy, man, and it's been grand hanging out with you, and with everyone else in this stream. You're always welcome to, and I will be streaming